Kotaro Lives Alone is an anime, based on the manga by Mami Tamura, about a boy who lives on his own at 4 years old. With that description, along with the promotional pictures that Netflix typically provides, many would assume that it's not their cup of tea. I mean, that's what I did, I scrolled past it quite a lot. That is, until I started dating a pretty amazing person who highly recommended it to me, and well, I follow up on recommendations from people I care about. And again, from the, albeit limited, promotional material that I saw, I thought it'd be a simple show following the adventures of a boy doing silly things in his apartment alone. However, what I got was some very deep, personal, hard-hitting and existential questions. What makes a person good? What lies is it okay to tell children? What lies is it okay to tell ourselves? Is it okay for us to forgive our abusers? Does our trauma define us? I am so hurt right now. We start from the perspective of a man named Shin Karino. He's an artist struggling to break the mold in an industry, and outside of his work and his creative impulses, he kind of neglects everything else in his life. He's also completely hopeless and keeps falling into patterns that hurt himself and those around him. Oh, wait a second. Oh no, these are my therapist's notes on me. Shin Karino is a manga artist trying to break the mold in the manga industry, and outside of his work impulses and creative impulses, he neglects everything else in his life. See, he's nothing like me. Until one day, he gets a knock on his door from a mysterious young boy who offers him tissues as a moving-in present. Apparently in Japan, it's considered polite to introduce yourself to your new neighbours when you move in with a gift. And after a short conversation, Shin finds out that this child doesn't represent any adults. This child lives in the apartment next door. This child lives alone. Immediately, Shin begins to feel protective about this little kid because, I mean, he's 4. Shin sticks around to make sure Kotaro doesn't get hurt or get into any trouble or something. Kotaro proves to be way more capable than any other 4-year-old, and hilarity ensues. But as the show progresses, it raises questions and answers them while posing new ones. How does Kotaro manage to have the money to live on his own? Where does his income come from? Why is he living alone in the first place? Why doesn't Kotaro like getting his photo taken, and why does he talk like a feudal lord from 15th century Japan? There's only one season on Netflix, but it answers many of these questions, and it does so in both an interesting and utterly heart-wrenching way in some cases. What adds even more to this is that Kotaro is obviously a lot more mature because of his own trauma and experiences, allowing him to recognize certain problems that adults can have, but because he's still a child, he's not restricted by social expectations when it comes to talking to them. So this allows Kotaro to be completely blunt as a child would when addressing adults that are lying about very adult problems. He can tell them exactly what they need to hear in the most simple way possible. And given that this is a story set in a very grounded and realistic world, much like our own, sometimes the things he says can be what we need to hear as well. And what makes Kotaro such an amazing character is that he does this because he wants to, because he understands pain and doesn't want other people, even adults, to feel it, to the point where he even feels protective of them. Oh my god! I was going to do some summing up there, that's what it says in the script, but I wanted to give you a kind of example as to what subject matter this show deals with. I mean, I've hinted enough, but I want to give you an example of how the show shows you the subject matter it's going to deal with before it actually deals with it. Shin and Kotaro notice that their neighbour Mitsuki's door is left open first thing in the morning. They go in to check on her, and she is completely and totally plastered. Now, this in itself isn't necessarily a bad thing, but Shin doesn't know what to do in this situation. He isn't sure. But Kotaro, the 4-year-old child, knows exactly what to do in this situation. Almost like he's done it before. Almost like he's done this a lot of times before. And that is just one peek we get into the window of Kotaro's mysterious life that begins to unravel more and more as the show goes on. At the time of recording this, it's only 10 episodes and the pacing is good, and it's very comforting for the subject matter it tackles. If you have free time, I recommend watching the first 5 episodes, and if it's not your thing by then, feel free to drop it. But I think a lot of people will like this. I think many people are sleeping on this for the same reason I did. What little promotional material there isn't very good, and it's also a slice of life, which I know puts a lot of people off. And again, what little promotional material there is doesn't really cover or convey the message that the show tries to give you. It doesn't really match the tone of the actual show itself, but then again, that kind of added a stronger gut punch to me. Then again, I think the age rating and the warning about possible child abuse being discussed are a fair heads up, I think. Yeah, once again, if you have the time, I recommend you sit down, grab a snack, and go on this little journey. I really hope there are more seasons soon, but if there's a manga, I am going to read it. Hang on, there is a manga? Well, I've got some reading to do. See you guys in a month. Okay, hopefully not. I have a couple of ideas for videos, and hopefully they won't die in the water like many ideas that have come before them. But I'm currently trying to get a new job, and I'll be between places soon, so I'm gonna be really busy. I'm sorry about that, but I'll try to be as consistent as possible. And please, like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Love you very much. Kisses. Mwah.